See if I can find a guitar pick. I can.
Since you gave me one, I should have it here.
I usually have one in my pocket.
Here.
Okay, I'll take yours. Cool. So the best way that I have of describing Chic is I say, think about Beethoven. Beethoven can write the Fifth Symphony, but he can't play it. He needs a symphony orchestra to play it. He can't play it. He's got to write it, and that's so I can write "I Want Your Love," but I can't play it. All I can do is play my part, or I can play the individual parts that I've written, that I've composed, but I cannot play the whole song. I need the whole unit. I need the singers. I need the players. I need the guy on the orchestra bells. I need the person playing kung. I need everybody to play it. Certainly, my disco is jazz based. Absolutely, the very first song I wrote. If we didn't, we could have easily made it a jazz song, and it would have been cool. It could have been, Return to Forever or Herbie Hancock. I mean, every one of our lead singles was the chord progression of 1 to 4. So the first one was the basic vibe. So it was F to B flat. Le Freak was 1 to 4. So it's A to D.
Yeah.
A to D. So F to B flat, F to B flat, A to D. Dunga dunga dun dun. And though the holes were rather small, dun 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 dun. So my parents were heroin addicts, and they were beatniks. So you have to put it in context. They were beatniks. They were the real deal. People, Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor and people like that would come to our house. Thelonious Monk would come to our apartment, and so these are the people I knew. I went from being the guy into the Marvelettes and Smokey Robinson and that type of thing, to a guy who came home and went, "This is the end, doom, 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 beautiful friend." I get, as a birthday present, Elvis Presley's blue suede shoes, a copy of the 45, blue suede shoes. And then I also get a pair of blue suede shoes to go along with it. So I get blue suede shoes and a record from my grandmother. And she gives me the music and she says, "Go perform now, put on the shoes and go dance." I was like, "What do you mean go dance?" So obviously I must have been dancing before that.
A natural born performer.
Maybe.
We are family. Hey, I got all my sisters with me.
When I saw Parliament Funkadelic come in and take over, basically what they said to the management, "You relax, we got this night." And they came to us, who were the people in the other band, and said, "We're going to make a collective. We're going to build," as they called it, "we're going to build a wall. And we're going to take all of our amplifiers and stack them up on the back of the Apollo Theater, and we're all going to play together for this audience." And I was like, "Oh man, are you kidding?" And we go out and we play Cosmic Slop and do-do-do-do-do, "Would you like to dance with me?" And we're all jamming, and it's basically almost like free-form jazz, except we were doing funk.
Who was more influential to you, James Brown or Marvin Gaye?
James Brown for me.
Yeah.
A lot more. But that's because James Brown's music was basically guitar bass, was the rhythm section. It was just two guitar players. Rarely.
Have you seen the new film about James Brown?
Sure.
There's this wonderful scene where he's talking to his band and saying, "Which instrument are you playing?" to the saxophone player, and he says, "A saxophone." And then he says, "No, you're playing drums." And then he talks to the trombone player. "What's the rhythm?" Drums. So everybody's playing drums here.
Right. It's all about groove.
For me, it's a wonderful metaphor to explain groove and why James Brown's music is so groovy and why the whole music that derived from that.
That's right. Yeah, and it's interesting because that's why my rhythmic style is what it is. Fuck off. Funk Studio 54. Fuck off. I've been so lucky that the first job I ever got after I had my first hit record, the head of the record company asked me to produce the Rolling Stones. He says, I will offer you anyone on the label because he thought we were very talented. He offered us the Rolling Stones and Bette Midler, two huge superstar acts at the time. And I went, nah, because if we do the Rolling Stones, you're just going to think it's just another great Rolling Stones record. You won't think I had anything to do with it. And how am I going to tell Keith and Mick what to do? You know, what am I going to do? No, let me play guitar on the Rolling Stones record. You guys sit back and I got it covered. Like, that's not going to work.
Among those people whom you worked, which one is the most important project for you?
I would say David Bowie,
David
Let's
Bowie.
Dance, because
what is the most underrated, underestimated song or project that you have ever done that nobody has recognized or you personally think?
Al Jarreau, L is for Lover. I've never told anybody, I told two people in the world, I told you last night at dinner. When my partner Bernard Edwards died, and I found his body in the room in Japan, the very first thing that was clear to me after I touched his face and I could feel that it was the same temperature as the table, because at first I was in denial. I just kept screaming and thinking that he would wake up and go, all right, Eddie. So once I saw that and I knew that he was dead, the first thing that came into my mind was this phrase, I'll be there for you, because all my life he's been there for me. The music is 35 years old. I say to the audience, I don't want to live in the past, but it's a nice place to visit. And if you come along, I'll be there.
She's up all night to the sun. I'm up all night to get some. She's up all night for good fun. I'm up all night to get lucky.
So I decided before I die, I'm going to do as much music as possible. And maybe I'll do all the music I can do. Maybe one day, maybe one day I will no longer have the ability to compose music. But while I have that ability, I'm going to do everything.
Being one of the most successful musicians on earth, are you a lonely man?
Probably, but that's okay. I've been alone all my life. I mean, I grew up, music was my friend. So I created characters and I created symphonies and I created motifs and I created music, movements and things like that in my head to keep myself company.
But if you would come to heaven and may bring only one Chic song with you, which one would you choose?
It would be Good Times.
Same for me. Thank you. Great. Thank you very much.